No, there's no question of an abdication. We're in a sort of similar situation rather to the one the Queen was in at the start of the COVID pandemic, where she was trying to juggle her duties as monarch while being detached from the public, and that's really the model. I think the COVID protocols will apply. We'll see plenty of the King, we'll hear from him, but it'll just be by remote video conferencing rather than in the flesh.
I think it's broadly a sign of the times. I think it's a sense that the King wants to be as open as he can. I think it does mark a departure from the tone and the style of his mother, the late Queen. I think it was also to manage expectation. He has withdrawn from public engagements, and obviously, given that, it was always going to raise speculation. So on some level, he had to say something. But of course, he didn't have to disclose that it was actually a cancer diagnosis. That said, there are clearly limits on how much information has been disclosed and probably will be disclosed.
The Prime Minister, Your Majesty.
Good evening, Your Majesty. Very nice to see you. And wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a bit, but wonderful.
Afraid.
Wonderful to see you looking so well.
No, it's all done by mirrors.
Well, we're all behind you. The country's behind you.
No, because I've had so many wonderful messages and cards, and
I can imagine.
It's reduced me to tears most of the time.
Well, I can imagine.
It seems to have gone down very well. I think people are very interested in him. It's a kind of human touch, a sort of human warmth now that's being generated towards him. And so I think, you know, you can look at it as a kind of cynical tactic on his part to sort of play to public opinion. I think it's probably was his instinct to be open, and I think certainly, you know, he's received a lot of warm support in return.
Yeah, the British are just generally not the royal family that abdicates in favor of the next person in line. You know, other royal families around the world, that's kind of their tradition. The Dutch, for example, once the monarch gets to a certain age, they tend to step back and let their heir step forward, take on this role, take the center stage.
Het is met het grootste vertrouwen dat ik op 30 april van dit jaar het koningschap zal overdragen aan mijn zoon, de prins van Oranje.
Dank u wel, goede dienst. S'il vous plaît, ici, merci. Merci, ma.
abdication has been associated with a kind of selfish shirking of responsibility, in the sense that the late, of course, Edward VIII abdicated the throne to marry the American divorcee Wallis Simpson. And there was a sense there that he, didn't step up and do his duty, and that he left, as it were, his brother, the late Queen's father, George VI, who was, not in many ways, people imagined, cut out for the role. He was the king with a stammer, but had to really grow into the role, which he very much did. He sort of left him in the lurch. And so I think abdication has become almost a sort of dirty word in the UK, that it does imply a kind of shirking of responsibility. I think there might also be in part a sense that it's about protecting the next generation from as long as possible from the scrutiny and the relentless pressure of the press. William, of course, has a young family, and I'm sure there is in part a sense that, his father wants to protect his son and his grandchildren as long as possible from being in that ultimate position in the limelight. So, and also I think Charles has been waiting all his life, quite literally, to be king.
So I can see King Charles wanting to continue that tradition. He wants to rule till his death. Of course, he was the longest serving Prince of Wales. He's waited for this role. I'm sure he's had big ideas in mind, things he wants to do as king. And for this to just come so soon after he has started his reign must be devastating for him.
Părăsesc în acest moment spitalul de clinic din Londra, aici unde a stat de 4 zile. Spitalul. Sunt imagini fără precedent. Este pentru prima dată când monarhul britanic este internat în spital și părăsește după ce vine s-a internat pentru prostată, pentru operație de prostată.